Hello, and welcome to In the Studio with C-U Cinefiles. I'm Cece.
And I'm Nick.
And we're going to be talking about the Oscars.
The Oscars.
We have our ballots here if you're wondering what our papers are. So I have to start with something first, though, before we get into the actual categories. I read an article, I think 2 or 3 days ago, saying that they are no longer going to be broadcasting cinematography, editing, or hair and makeup during the Oscars. Like, it's gonna be off-screen, those people winning. And Guillermo del Toro was saying, like, those are the quintessentials of film. So I just want to know how you felt about that. I'm very upset, but...
Yeah, I'm really upset too. I mean, those are the building blocks of filmmaking, right? Those are like the two most important pieces that you consider when making a film, to not celebrate the people who put all of that hard work into their crafts.
Especially since the Oscars don't have a host this year. They're really, I know they're trying to cut back on time because their ratings are bad and they think it's because it's really long. But I think one of the biggest problems is they keep cutting out parts that matter, right? They keep cutting out things that are important to film.
I saw a Facebook petition to try to get them back
Really?
in. Yeah, had some major momentum. It was like 100,000 signatures.
Oh my gosh. Definitely we're gonna get into our picks though, because that's the most important part.
That's what you're dying to know.
Yeah, right? The first one I want to talk about is cinematography.
Of the films listed for cinematography, I think Roma is going to win it. But
I said the same.
If I could add one to that list, I would have added If Beale Street Could Talk. That was one of my favorite movies this year, and I feel like it definitely deserved to be part of that.
Well, I was surprised, and I know we'll get to Best Picture later, but I can't believe it wasn't nominated for anything. Like, basically, not Best Picture. I think it's only up for a couple things. For me, I also picked Roma. I think it's really interesting that Netflix was able to be nominated. I really liked Roma. I thought that the cinematography was really nice. I personally thought that Isle of Dogs, I know that it's animated, so it's not traditional, but I thought it was just really interesting how it looked, and like it was very stylistic. That's what I think Wes Anderson does so well, is like his cinematography and directing is so stylistic.
Best editing, I had The Favorite. I thought it was really tight. The scenes really flow together. It's kind of it's got like 5 or 6 different acts, which is like, you know, they say that they like divide the film into acts, and I think, you know, films so rarely do that and get away with it. But it has a total momentum to it, which I think really worked. And I also thought Suspiria had really good editing, although that wasn't on the list.
I hated Suspiria, but it's fine because I like the original. But for directing, once again, I think Wes Anderson for Isle of Dogs should have been up. I thought Spike Lee for BlacKkKlansman. I really loved BlacKkKlansman, and I don't know, I feel like Spike Lee is just like, he's a very well-known director, like he's done a lot. I kind of feel like it's his time. Like, you know how like Leonardo DiCaprio had his time because they were like, just give it to the poor guy at that point. So, but what'd you put?
I put Roma again. I think Alfonso Cuarón has so much skin in Roma that this is just, I think it's his time. Well, I don't know. Alfonso Cuarón has won a lot of Oscars for Gravity and Y Tu Mama Tambien. Maybe Roma is not such a great leap forward for him, but I felt like he was probably the best director on this list.
Other thing that I want to talk about too, hair and makeup, Mary Queen of Scots. Like, Margot Robbie did not even look like, literally, I was like, that's her, you know?
I feel like each film that is nominated in this category all have really bold makeup choices. So, I mean, there's that fierce look for Margot Robbie, and then of course Christian Bale is just intensely covered in that prosthetic weight.
That's true, yeah.
And Border, I think, was a Swedish film about a guy who is kind of like disfigured. So I think all those have like really intense choices. I would be totally okay with Mary Queen of Scots winning for makeup, though. It was great.
I totally forgot about Vice with Christian Bale, because that was amazing. It was kind of like last year when they turned Gary Oldman into Winston Churchill. We won't see that on air because the Oscars decided to take it off.
Oscar voters, if you're out there, please fix this. Please do something about this.
Us.
Help us. We're suffering. We're here. We care. We care.
We do care.
So do you want to talk about Best Animated Film now?
Definitely, yes.
So I have an idea of what you think is Best animated film.
Actually, it's gonna surprise you.
Oh.
I do think Into the Spider-Verse deserves Best Animated.
Whoa.
It was beautiful. Like, I've never seen anything like that before. And I know I'm a little biased because I love Spider-Man. But I'm upset Isle of Dogs didn't get nominated for Best Picture. But I'll get into that. But how about you?
I totally agree with Into the Spider-Verse. That should definitely win. Just the graphic design of that movie is just so interesting. And I was talking earlier to someone about how I think it might be the best comic book movie I've ever seen, with the emphasis on comic book.
Yeah, it was just so, like, everything was just pieced together so well. It just was like, it was literally a work of art, honestly. You know, when people, I feel like, make fun of the Oscars or make fun of film, I'm like, that film shows why film is so important, why it is such an art. Like, it was just, because I think it won a bunch of, not Emmys, Golden Globes.
Oh, yeah.
So, and I think it totally deserved it. Before we get to Best Picture, we have to go into Best Actor and Best Actress. For Best Actress, Lady Gaga should win, and I'm sure that's very controversial. I like it for two reasons. First of all, I think Lady Gaga is, like, actually a really good actress. I loved her in American Horror Story. But I also think it's really amazing that she's trying to be more than just, like, a singer. Like, I think it's really inspiring that she was like, I'm not just going to be in, like, some cheesy TV show. I'm not just going to be in a movie that's, like, some romance comedy that people will see. Like, she was like, I want to try and be in, like, serious... like, do serious acting roles, so...
She's a multi-talented person.
True.
I didn't see A Star is Born, but I also loved her in American Horror Story. So I think I could definitely see her winning that. For Best Actress, I put Olivia Colman for The Favorite. I think she was great in that. She really is kind of the heart of that movie and really carries it. I would also be okay with the character in Roma, Yalitza Aparicio. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but she gave a masterful performance.
She did. No, I agree. I think this category is actually kind of hard because I think everyone, I didn't see the Melissa McCarthy film, but when I saw the trailer, I, like, didn't even recognize her. I was like, wow, this is actually, like, because, you know how usually she's in those films that are like, she's going to fall down the stairs and we're all going to laugh. That type of humor. And what about for Best Actor?
I think Christian Bale will probably win for his role in Vice, but I don't know, I didn't really like any of the performances on this list, to be honest. And if I could have given the Oscar to anyone, I would have given it to Ethan Hawke for his role in First Reformed.
Really?
Yes, I think that was the best performance this year. Yeah.
Wow, okay. See, I think Rami Malek, like, 100%. I did not really like Bohemian Rhapsody. I love Queen. Like, I loved Queen before it was popular to love Queen. I think Rami Malek, like, was spot on. Like, I watched so much behind the scenes of, like, how he got into character. He wore, like, the teeth for, like, months. Like, I just feel like he really cared about the role. But I guess, I don't know if that counts for... Especially since I didn't enjoy the film. I'm like, do I just like it because I think he worked so hard? And now the moment we've all been waiting for. Best Picture.
So you should go first.
Okay, well, Best Picture I kind of struggled with. I said Roma, but I definitely think Isle of Dogs should have been nominated. I think that it didn't because it's animated. And that's one of my biggest problems with the Oscars is it seems to be only dramas that get nominated, and I don't understand because there are some amazing scary movies that come out, like Hereditary, or, you know, there might be romance films or comedies, and I just don't know why it's like we have one, like, type, and that's all that seems to get nominated.
Art has to be so serious, and only serious art gets awarded.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally
Even, like,
understand
Into the
that.
Spider-Verse, I'm like, that should have been nominated for Best Picture. It was beautiful. It had a good storyline. It was, like I said, a work of art. And yet, I feel like just because it's animated, it's automatically seen as, like...
Or maybe because it's popular. My pick for Best Picture is Roma. I thought it was one of the best movies that came out this year. I've already mentioned that. One of the snubs in this category that I would have liked to have nominated, though, was Burning. I really love Burning. Stephen Yeun gives an amazing performance in that.
Shoplifters, I don't know if you saw that
I
one.
didn't.
That should have been nominated as well. This issue with the Oscars is I just feel like it's a bunch of people that see how the Oscars have always gone and they don't want to change that, you know? Like, that's why Black Panther is so monumental that they're allowing, like, a superhero film to be up, you know? So I think it's really hard that these other films that definitely have, like, the means, like, have the talent, per se.
They're works of art. They're great art. They should be rewarded.
Right. I feel like I said, it's almost, if they don't fit into that cookie cutter look of what people think the Oscars are, they're not going to make the cut. So,
right. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
I also felt like Sorry to Bother You got kind of snubbed all around.
Totally agree.
Wasn't expecting it to get nominated for Best Picture, but I thought at least original screenplay. I mean, Boots Riley, who actually was on campus last semester,
I know.
had a Q&A, which was amazing. He said that he'd been writing this film for like 9 years or something. So
it's amazing. I know.
To see him get rewarded would have been nice.
That is it for our predictions. We'd love to hear what all of your predictions are. Are you gonna watch the Oscars? Do people even watch the Oscars? I don't know. Sometimes I don't. I won't lie. Sometimes I just look it up because the Oscars are really boring.
Yep.
I hate the performances, the singing performances.
Oh, God.
They're so awkward, and I'm just like, I don't want to watch it. Thank you for tuning
Thank
in.
you.
We'll see you next time. Bye.